So for today, I thought I'd take a rest day here and go over something light and refreshing, like a White House press briefing. That's right, we're gonna read official White House material. So let's get to it. For those of you who have been subscribed for a while, you are based, and those of you who are not subscribed are cringe pilled and unbased, and especially those of you who don't hit like, and the ultra based are those who support me with links in the description. Um, but no matter how much money I can get within the next short period here, um, it's not going to make the dollar any less dystopian. And for those of you who've been subscribed for a while, you know what I think it's headed toward. I think it's headed toward a global system of tyranny where everybody is going to start participating. We've got Russia participating. We've got Ukraine promising participation. We've got China already participating, and Canada basically already there. And the US is coming too. And what am I saying they're going to participate in? Longtime listeners will know it already. See it with me, CBDC. So, here is a White House press briefing. Technical possibilities for a U.S. central bank digital currency. This is from the official White House press briefing room. And I've been saying that they were going to do this for a while. There were a lot of people who didn't believe that it's going to be put on this standard, including a bunch of bigots who are more concerned with trans people than they are with the global financial tyranny that's coming. That applies to a significant amount of people in truth circles. They are more concerned with stupid shit, and policing other people's behavior than really important shit like this. So I thought I'd go over this and just read some stuff. President Biden often summarizes his vision for America in one word: possibilities. A digital dollar may seem far-fetched, but modern technology could make it a real possibility. A United States central bank digital currency would be a digital form of the US dollar. While the US has not yet decided whether it will pursue a CBDC, the US has been closely examining the implementation of and options for issuing a CBDC. If the US pushed a CBDC, there could be many possible benefits, such as facilitating efficient and low-cost transactions, fostering greater access to the financial system, boosting economic growth, and supporting the continued centrality of the U.S. within the international financial system. Oh boy, it's real great when they just fucking lay it out there. I've been saying this. I've been saying that the purpose of the CBDC is to maintain the value of the dollar and keep the U.S. at the head of the global table in terms of its financial power. That's why it's worse for the planet, because the U.S. uses the dollar to prop up its oil regimes and the military, which is it's like the single biggest polluting entity on the planet, the U.S. military, and not to mention, it's more polluting than 140 other countries combined. I got told by this jackoff in an allegedly libertarian and leftist group that I wasn't qualified to speak on this, that I'm not an expert enough today. And this jackoff is a real estate agent. So he thinks he's qualified to speak on it because he's a real estate agent and he used to be in the army. But I'm not. okay, you pinky swearsies on that. So I can't be qualified even though I'm reading it from the fucking source here. I can't be qualified even though I've been posting from the fucking sources for a long time, right? I am unqualified as fuck. So just note that I'm unqualified while I continue reading in this voice. And by the way, if you need voiceover work, feel free to hit me up. I can make this creepy voice in your recording. I can make a variety of other voices too. Feel free to hit me up. However, a US CBDC could also introduce a variety of risks, as it might affect everything ranging from the stability of the financial system to the protection of sensitive data. Notably, these benefits and risks might vary significantly based on how the CBDC system is designed and deployed. That's why Executive Order 14067, ensuring responsible development of digital assets, place the highest urgency on research and development efforts into the potential design and deployment of options of a U.S. CBDC. The executive order directed at the Office of Science and Technology Policy, OSTP, in consultation with other federal departments and agencies, to submit to the President a technical evaluation for a potential U.S. CBDC system. You mean the Rockefellers, and Accenture, and Microsoft, and a bunch of other, like, unseemly fucking characters. As I said in my article, Panopticon Rising and the COVID-19 and the Elite Enslavement Plan. And as I reified in my article, The Great Reset, Exploiting Disease for Profit and Power. In those articles, I went over this exact thing that they're deploying right now, that they're propagandizing, that they're building up, that they're trying to get you to accept now. I went over this years ago and people called me insane, and they still do, and they call me an unqualified unexpert who's just a conspiracy theorist. And I literally got told also the other day that conspiracies don't happen, that there never has been a conspiracy. Yeah, fuck all of these people. But like, that's why they're doing it, you know? They're doing it because they want that sensitive data. They want a one-way mirror into your world because they want to be able to see out without you being able to see in. That's what this is. It's going to be a blockchain that only they can visibly, like, monitor. They can see in, you can't see them. That's what it is. It's lab rat monitoring systems for the entire fucking global economic system. It's panopticon style fascism on a global scale. Today, OSTP is publishing its report, Technical Evaluations for a U.S. Central Bank Digital Currency System, which lays out policy objectives for a potential U.S. CBDC system and analyzes key technical design choices for a U.S. CBDC system. The report also estimates the technical feasibility of building a CBDC minimum viable product and describes how a U.S. CBDC system might affect federal operations. The report makes recommendations on how to prepare the federal government for a U.S. CBDC system. Importantly, the report does not make any assessments or recommendations about whether the U.S. should pursue a CBDC, nor does it make any decisions regarding particular design choices for a potential U.S. CBDC program. At last year's Summit for Democracy, President Biden spoke about the importance of using technology to advance the democracies, to lift people up, not hold them down. If the U.S. launches its own CBDC, it should advance this democratic vision. This report includes the Biden-Harris administration policy objectives for a potential U.S. CBDC system, building on priorities outlined in the executive order. For example, these objectives state that a U.S. CBDC system should expand equitable access to the financial system, preserve the role of physical cash, and only collect data that is strictly necessary. Do you believe them? If you watch my video a bit ago, you'll see that cashless societies are bad for equitability. They're fucking bad for it. and they don't preserve the role of physical cash. That's the fucking point. The whole fucking point of this is to eliminate cash, is to go contact free, is to have a cashless future. That's the whole fucking point. And they're going to be collecting all data. That's the fucking point. They're going to be collecting data related to you, your identity, and Bill Gates is throwing over $1 billion more at his ID project. You remember ID 2020? Yeah, that's still a thing that they want. A global facial recognition biometric database run on AI that would mirror the kind of thing that they have in China already. The kind of thing that they're telling everybody to call China a bunch of tyrants for. They have. And they sent it to Flint, Michigan first. RoboCop helmets. Look it up. They also note that a US CBDC should be sustainable, avoiding the environmental concerns raised by some privately issued digital assets, and they note a US CBDC should be functional and provide a good customer experience so that all Americans can truly benefit. So they're saying that no, our privacy-free currency here, that's gonna involve nothing of the sort. It's not gonna be bad for the environment like the other ones. Not like we're already worse for the environment by amount of carbon released. Not like that's already the way things are, right? We're so innocent and perfect. And if you disagree, you probably just don't understand. You're not educated enough, see? So, they say that, right? And then they say, these policy objectives provide a framework by which to evaluate different design choices for a US CBDC system. The 18 technical design choices in this report are analyzed with respect to these policy objectives so that policymakers can see how policy objectives manifest themselves deep in the weeds of technical design choices. Gotta love this fucking jargon speak. They're saying that they are building a system that's aesthetically appealing enough and like useful enough that people are going to use it. That it's not just going to look like some bland government thing. So they're literally saying that they're going to propagandize you or like use weird like marketing tactics in order to get you onto this system. Dystopian much? Good technology policy often requires getting specific about the technology being discussed and the policy priorities being pursued. This is particularly true for CBDCs, which can be challenging to evaluate without being precise about the design choices underpinning the Look at this. It's just saying more about the fucking thing and saying, "Oh, but it's hard for us to be sure about this." And then it's just being like this, you know? You know? And so this R&D agenda will take a whole-of-government approach consistent with the President's directive to place the highest urgency on R&D efforts related to CBDC, as well as the fiscal year 2024 budget priority that requests that the federal departments and agencies collaborate on critical and emerging technologies, including financial technologies. This will help bring the federal government's resources and expertise to bear on hard questions related to digital assets. This report helps advance the mission of the White House Office of Science and Technology Policy, which is to maximize the benefits of science and technology to advance health, prosperity, security, environmental quality, and justice for all Americans. The American people deserve to fully benefit from technological possibilities like The American people deserve to fully benefit from technological possibilities like a US CBDC while being protected from the harms it could bring. We look forward to continue advancing President Biden's priorities on digital assets. Bullshit. The whole point is to collect the data. The whole point is to collect sensitive data. The whole point is to collect all of your data. The whole point is to be a data collection apparatus. The whole point is to use that data to control you. That's been the point. And so, yeah, it's to advance health in the form of being directly related to health directives, which were also Rockefeller, Microsoft, Gavi, and various U.S. government offices being all like buddy buddy with the existent wealth powers that exist already, in order to create a new financial tyranny. That's what it's been. It's been that for years. It's been that since I said so. It's been that while people called me insane. And it's going to continue being that. And all of this is just propaganda, spin, and lies. And I might go over the other stuff that they were linking to at some other point when I'm less exhausted. But I also said that they're going to start building an Internet of Things to brutalize and control us. And I said that they were going to do this in league with like big intelligence-based companies. I said that In-Q-Tel was heavily behind a lot of the problems in the world, and that the CIA and its, little bitch corporation buddies are all affiliated with this new evil plan, right? And I also make a regular point that the U.S. military regularly gets involved in conflicts so that they can test new military hardware that will eventually be passed down to law enforcement agencies in order to control the common person, and that this whole thing has been designed to use emergency authorization and measures, and that kind of thing, to force their program down people's throats and then use the resulting, technology to control people. Well, wouldn't it be really, really sus if that turned out to be on the nose? Because Google is sponsoring the military-industrial complex and helping them build an Internet of Battlefield things that would totally never come back to roost. They would totally never be used domestically, despite the CIA and NSA both being used domestically against their stated missions and, policies. They would never be used domestically, right? Well, I hate to break it to you, but I don't hate to break it to you. The Google Cloud sponsors military conference featuring the future of autonomous warfare. And it's Kevin Sampson over here saying it's been a long overdue promise of the U.S. military to develop an Internet of Battlefield Things. We have been covering the various press releases for years, which have highlighted the many components that would comprise this military version of what we are witnessing in our day-to-day lives via our array of sensors and highly connected smart devices, sort of like Amazon Ring doorbells, giving all that data directly to cops, and also Ukrainian programmers, hackers, and blackmailers. So it's almost like the U.S. government has been propping up Ukraine for a while now, and so have its corporate allies, and that's one of the reasons that they're willing to have their back in this proxy war. And why they're willing to support genocide while being claiming to be on the side of good. We have been covering the various press releases for years, which have highlighted the many components that would comprise this military version of what we are witnessing in our day-to-day lives via our array of sensors and highly connected smart devices. Drone swarms are readily available in all sizes, including the potential for full-size autonomous Black Hawk helicopters. Autonomous! Well, hey, I guess those Black Hawks won't go down, right? Unlike the SEAL Team 6 helicopter, which went down for basically no reason. I thought that was a stealth raid. Aw, shucks, gosh darn it. That was a totally legitimate operation, and they threw him in the ocean for totally legitimate reasons, not because it was fucking bullshit. However, the military has continued to struggle with the communications aspect of developing a completely coordinated array of air and land-based drones and robots, especially while working alongside manned vehicles in full-scale operations. As reported by Defense One, this year's Air and Space Forces Association's Airspace and Cyber Conference, with major sponsor and contract contender Google Cloud, is declaring that we are on the cusp of witnessing at least next generation air dominance and collaborative combat aircraft as new advances are funding are finally aligning in 2022. What a coinky dink. Why isn't it already here, like en masse? I don't know that we really had the prioritization behind it. Van Timmeren, vice president of government services at Blue Force Technology, told Defense One. But advances in autonomy capabilities and advanced manufacturing, alongside government architectures which enable swapping of these capabilities, all that has finally come together. In tandem with endorsements from the Air Force Secretary and Chief of Staff on down, he said, we're past a proof of concept. The technology exists. We demonstrated it can be done. We just need the government to make the next move to actually get serious about it. If you want to get serious about a program, you got to fund it seriously. One key selling point is to greatly reduce the need for costly conventional aircraft, which has notoriously come in over budget and with major technical issues. Nevertheless, hurdles remain. As these autonomous systems come online and begin their integration into manned operations, the operators themselves need to be properly trained in order to ensure that human and machine systems can coexist to maintain distinct roles. Virtual reality is being sought as the training mechanism. But there could be an opportunity to introduce autonomous architecture into simulations so pilots can train on the exact systems they use in the air. Benita said Shield AI is working with the Air Force on that concept to plug in some of the essential autonomy into simulators to speed up the training process. The final piece of the puzzle is to establish a secure and dependable communications network that can operate in adversarial airspace. Previously, 5G had come into question over its limited range and stability. As the U.S. Army's Jeff Langau quipped, "Hey, we're right here in Washington, D.C. How well does your cell phone work with 100% of the time?" he asked. The industry has continued to experiment, however, and a recent alliance between Lockheed Martin and Verizon heralds a worrying trend of merging private and public systems to transmit U.S. military data. From Defense One. But perhaps the most important element of the experiment was the transfer of data between the two networks, one private and the other representing a public network. Future conflicts are likely to occur in the places where the military has to use public networks, and many regulators are concerned about how well the military and commercial providers will share portions of the 5G spectrum. Whether or not this can be scaled up to include the vast array of vehicles, humans, and drones that we need to seamlessly coordinate in a wide-scale operation still seems to be quite a distance from becoming reality. Meanwhile, China announced in 2020 that they will spend the decade working on the promise of 6G to provide the much-needed bandwidth and reduced latency. As we are bombarded daily by the twin threats of China and Russia surpassing our capabilities, my guess is that there will be no shortage of funding for any and all contractors who claim to have the solutions for winning the autonomous warfare arms race that's underway. And hey, didn't I just put out a video on how Starlink is designed to eliminate dark areas, and how Starlink's elimination of dark areas is going to come equipped with its ability to support a global military and cooperation, and also the military intelligence and prison industrial complex, and also the Internet of Things here at home, designed to spy on all of us, thus also proving my point about the panopticon. And didn't I also say that while all of this was happening, that the elites would have, total control, because they would have instituted a CBDC, meaning you can't even function in the economy without kowtowing to their bullshit? Didn't I say all that? Didn't I say that Elon Musk is paving the way so that they won't need to worry about any of this anymore once he's got enough of his satellites launched with the help of government stealing money from competitors and also government launch facilities? Didn't I say all of that? I wonder if I was right about that too. I wonder if this is like Revelations territory and this is really fucking bad. But don't listen to me though. Listen to the experts who are properly qualified for this, because I'm an unqualified non-expert. Let's listen to some fucking experts, shall we?
The World Economic Forum agrees that banks and financial institutions should lead the path forward for digital ID.
We are on the brink of a dramatic change where we are about to, and I'll say this boldly, we're about to abandon the traditional system of money and accounting and introduce a new one.
Technology now enables the development and issuance of central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs. A CBDC is a new type of central bank liability issued in digital form.
Central bank digital currency is coming alive.
For example, in cash, we don't know, for example, who's using a $100 bill today. We don't know who is using a 1,000 peso bill today. The central bank will have absolute control.
One of the things that came out of the BIS's survey, which is fascinating, is it's not clear whether it's even legal. I think half of the central bank survey said they weren't sure. Is it legal to create this kind of thing at the moment in either the US or Europe?
I think by the time we will proceed with, or if we proceed with the central bank digital currency, you can be sure that the legal basis will be sound. By the time we will proceed with, or if we proceed.
Wow. Those guys must not be qualified. Those guys must not be experts in the field. Those guys must not know anything about any of this, and those guys must just be talking out of their ass. That sounds like a wild, far-fetched conspiracy theory. Isn't that manipulating facts and reality and shit, not being rooted in truth or whatever? Damn. Fuck. You know, I'm just, a little bit bitter. I'm a little bit bitter that no matter what I say, liars will get more views. People who follow the mainstream narrative will get more views. People who support the establishment will always do better than me. Because
the World Economic Forum,
they support the agenda. They support everything that they have to in order to maintain relevance with those who pull the purse strings. And me, I get to remain irrelevant, insulted, degraded, and so do you if you step out of line. That's what they want. They want a future where they can control everything. They can control your discourse, and they can also control your relationships, your finances, your online beliefs. If you think it was bad that Dankula nearly went to prison for the pug joke, then you ain't seen nothing yet, because that's going global, and they'll be able to control they're lying when they say we want physical cash still. They're lying when they say we want to equalize and be good for the little guy. They're lying when they say we want all of this for your health, for your security, for your stability. They're lying when they say that all of this is for your own good. Because you don't build massive control systems for the good of the proles. You build it for the good of Big Brother. You build it for the morality police. So that people can keep on fucking chugging that paraben. You build it so that people can keep on slamming that soma. You build it so that people can keep on worshipping the current, leg amount that's good. So we can go from 4 legs bad to 2 legs good. To 2 legs bad and 4 legs good, and then back and forth, just struggling for the same amount of power in a system that's fundamentally corrupt. Maybe nobody should own this farm? I just feel like that's the case. I feel like maybe we're heading into a terrible, evil system, and a lot of people would rather think they've already won because of X, Y, and Z issue, and exceed all territory to fucking bigots and fascists and Nazis. But it's okay because every side has Nazis, right? You know, I feel like this is the end time and everybody is scrambling for the gates so that they can get theirs before it all comes crumbling down. Instead of actually just being better people, putting our foot down, putting a line in the sand and saying we're not going to fucking take this anymore. But hey, you know, if you want to, you know, still hate me, if you want to still talk shit, then feel free. Because I know all of these reasons and more that we need to smash the fucking state.